Howdy folks, and welcome to my first World of Tanks video of 2019, and 2019 is shaping up to be an interesting year in World of Tanks. There are some big changes on the horizon. Wargaming are looking at fixing some of the problems with the matchmaker, bringing back the frontline mode, the Swedish medium tank line is due to appear soon, they're going to try to make clans more accessible, and of course they're talking about rebalancing gold ammo, although they don't want us to call it gold ammo anymore, they want it to be called special ammunition, which I think is actually quite appropriate. Because special. But yes, anyway, I'll come back to the subject of special ammunition in a moment. But for now, while, don't get me wrong, I think it's admirable that Wargaming are looking at trying to address some of the more obvious issues with World of Tanks this year, but no amount of tinkering with the matchmaking, game mechanics or rebalancing or introducing new vehicles is going to solve some of the more fundamental issues. Like this. There's the first team kill. Already the enemy team are down one artillery, but don't worry, they're just getting warmed up. There goes the other one. Oh yes. This is Marco Pinheiro, by the way, in the Striv 74. Unless I miss my mark, he's either from Portugal or Brazil with a name like that. And this battle isn't really about him. Not at all. This is about the enemy team. And the fact, because it is a fact, that it doesn't matter how Wargaming try to address any of the issues with their game, you're always going to have morons like this, because it's a free-to-play game. And that is what makes it utterly unpredictable. And spicy. Although, to be fair to Wargaming, there's not a huge amount they can do about this that they're not already doing with things like the automated anti-team killing system. Although, speaking of which, I am kind of wondering what that number 1 platoon on the enemy team are up to. They haven't team killed anything for approaching a minute now. Although the KV-2R does have a fairly long reload, and the EZ-8 doesn't do a huge amount of damage per shot, so maybe they're just working their way up to it. Oh, there we go! Right, they've moved on from team killing all of their artillery to finishing off all of their scouts. EZ-8's just killed an MT-25. That KV-2R's got some catching up to do. He's only got one team kill to his name. He's going to have to get a move on. And then player 3 enters the match. The Scorpion G kills the KV-2R. Oh, Marco's down, but well, doesn't matter. Like I said, this replay wasn't really about him. So we now have a third team killer on the enemy team. They're at 4 team kills so far. He's managed to team kill the KV-2R, almost certainly in self-defense. The EZ-8 is still running around there somewhere, not quite sure what he's up to. Can we rely on the Scorpion G to even the scores? Yes, we can! Yes, there we go. That's 5 team kills on the enemy team. And as you can quite clearly see, Wargaming's anti-team killing punishment system is obviously working well as intended. Not a single player on the enemy team has turned blue as a result of damage inflicted upon their teammates. Perhaps Wargaming could add that one to the list. Because frankly guys, if that's a system that's working as intended, well, I'm just putting this one out there. Run it up the flagpole, see who salutes. Maybe you need a new system. Well anyway, moving along swiftly to today's main event. This is Oraminas 007, or Oraminas, you know what, I don't know. But I'm not going to call him Dave, because I can mostly pronounce his name. He's in the Progetto 46, the Italian medium auto-loading tier 8 medium tank. Although I understand it's become fashionable these days to call the Italian tanks with this type of auto-loader mechanism an auto-reloader rather than an auto-loader, because the magazine reloads even if there are still shells remaining. And I think it's relatively fair to say that this new Italian auto-reloader mechanic has introduced a breath of fresh air into what was threatening to become some fairly stale gameplay here in World of Tanks. They're certainly not overpowered. I mean, the Progetto 46 is a good tank, but one of the peculiarities of this Italian auto-reloading system is, of course, that the more shells you fired from the magazine, the longer it takes to reload successive shells. Now, if you want overpowered, you just look at the Russian auto-reloading system, as seen on the IS-3A. And if you don't play World of Tanks, by the way, or you haven't played World of Tanks for a while, I promise I am not making this up. I know it sounds like the kind of joke that you would hear in a Klaus Kellerman video, but it is absolutely true that on the Russian IS-3A, it reloads the shots faster the more shots you've already fired, and, wait for it, that's not even the punchline, when the magazine is empty, it fires just as quickly as any other tank without an auto-loading system. You see, that's how they balanced autoloaders. That's how autoloaders can get away with doing so much burst damage when the magazine's full, because they can't do any damage when the magazine's empty. But not in Soviet Russia. When you're just as good as a regular IS-3 when your magazine's empty, and when it's full you can push out more damage than an AMX-100, because in Soviet Russia auto-reloaders reload you. Yeah. Anyway, how did you get your hands on the IS-3A again? Because it used to be fairly shit when you could actually buy it in the premium shop, and then they took it away and they gave it the most ridiculously overpowered auto-reloading system in the history of World of Tanks, and you could only get it by buying loot boxes. I never thought I'd see the day, but, well, Christmas 2018 was the year when Wargaming embarked on predatory sales tactics that were so bad they made Electronic Arts look like a children's charity. Anyway, back to the game. Oramenus has already clocked up his first kill. He nailed the enemy T-3485, and while he hasn't done a huge amount of damage yet, he has also inflicted some damage on a couple of other enemy tanks. He spent the time waiting for the rest of his team to catch up and push on ahead, reloading his magazine. There's a T-34-100 out there somewhere, although he's almost certainly fallen back from his last reported position rather than get overwhelmed by all of these lights and mediums. The team are actually doing quite well, they're ahead, 5 kills to 3. There's the enemy T-34-100 platoon, crouched in cover around the corner of the factory up ahead, not shooting at all of these tanks that Type 64 is busy spotting for them. So, Type 64 spotted, cover blown. Gonna have to deal with that guy. Threat to the flank, pulls back just in case the two T-34-100s had popped out to take advantage of all the spotting that the Type 64 was doing for them. Of course they didn't. So he's free to advance further. Now with those two T-34-100s hopefully having their attention occupied by the light tanks to the front, maybe Oramenus can sneak around the back here and engage in a spotted light surprise butt sex. And he can. None of them are looking this way, and he manages to get 3 shots into one of them and not quite finish him. However, the Panther and the AMX-12T who popped around here with him aren't going to enjoy nearly as much success. The T-34-100s obviously killed the one-shot light tank first, and artillery, as well as the Cromwell, who has shots into the unprotected flank of the Panther, are focusing this side of the factory as well. Oramenus kills the Cromwell, but artillery are keeping the shots up on the poor old Panther there, who's probably not going to last much longer, and anything that hits the Panther can also hit Oramenus if he was to join him on that corner. So instead, with a fully reloaded magazine, he pops around the other side. There's 1, there's 2, takes a hit from the 100mm gun on the T-34-100, but finishes him off with his 3rd shot. Artillery narrowly misses him, also manages to avoid the splash damage, almost reloads in time to finish off the last T-34-100, but with only 1 shot ready to go, even if he hits the T-34-85, and he does, he would have needed to ammo rack him to kill him. There are now just 3 members of the team remaining, and the 40 TP down there is getting swarmed by at least 3 enemy tanks, so he's probably going to die soon too. Robbed of the killing shot on that KV-2R, and of course he's got no DPM here. He's having to fire off the shot at targets in order to try and kill them and reduce the number of tanks shooting back at him the second the magazine is reloaded. So he's suffering from his longest possible reload. He does manage to finish off the T-34-85, but now there's just him and the T-71DA left. Aside from these two, only 3 other members of the team have managed to kill anything, and they're all dead. So what do we got here? He just bounced a shot from a Super Pershing. He has less than 600 health remaining. There are 5 enemies, including artillery, a KV-2R, a WZ-131, the Super Pershing, and an IS-6. And there's the Super Pershing. First shot probably saved him by throwing off the Super Pershing's aim as he blew his tracks off there. Second shot into the turret hatch, but he has to sit there aiming in order to finish off the kill. While spotted with a KV-2R pointing its gun at him. Yeah, that was kind of close. What's the T-71DA doing? Okay, he's going after the artillery. Fantastic. That's actually really, really good news. IS-6 coming around to the left, plays chicken and wins against the KV-2R. And now with only the one shot ready to go, he can't fight the IS-6. So he motors. IS-6 is coming. He's got to get out of here. He's got to reload. It's his one and only advantage, this auto-reloader. And he does manage to disengage. However, the team are being capped. We know where the artillery is. We know where the IS-6 is. So that can only mean one thing. The WZ-131 is sitting in that cap circle. And there he is. Now the T-71DA is alone against the M... Wow, he missed. But he didn't miss with the second shot. Okay. Yes, he did pretty much abandon the T-71DA to the tender mercies of the M12 artillery and the IS-6 heavy tank, but he didn't really have a huge amount of choice in the matter. If he hadn't returned to the cap to reset and kill that WZ-131, they were going to lose. By some miracle, the T-71DA failed to kill the M12. Not quite sure how that happened. But it does mean that in order to win this, we're probably looking at a pools medal. He's going to have to kill them all for 10 kills. There's no way he's going to win this by capping. So while he's lurking around, waiting to see who comes looking for him, let's talk, because I did say we would, about what Wargaming's plans are for what they are referring to as special ammunition. Gold ammo. They're talking, in 2019, about possibly reducing the amount of damage that it does by anything between 25 to 30% per shot. They claim that what this will do is that it will force people to pick the ammunition that's right for the circumstances. When you need the higher penetration, you load the gold. When you don't, you fire armor piercing. And I'm sure that for good players, that's exactly what will happen. Everybody else is just going to end up buying a lot more gold ammunition. You know it to be true. In that respect, I suppose it's a win-win situation for Wargaming. Aha, there's the IS-6. There's one shot. Oh, been spotted. There's two. You can finish him. Oh wait, engine fire. Finish him off anyway. And now get the hell out of there, because you were spotted, and the M12 is not going to be wasting any time. I said, because the M12 is not going to be wasting any time. There it is. Yeah, he took all the time aiming that one. I don't think it was a direct hit. Still shaved off half of his health. But that was his possibly one and only chance. It'd be interesting to see exactly how much health that M12 has remaining, to see if the T-71DA actually managed to do any damage to him whatsoever. I suspect what probably happened was he unloaded his clip into the M12. Most of them bounced because, hey, why not, it's artillery. And then, probably, with the IS-6 closing in on him, attempted to take cover behind the M12 while he reloaded his gun, but the M12 just, well, reversed and drove over him. It was definitely the M12 that got the kill. Now if you were this M12, where would you be, knowing that there was a Progetto 46 coming for you? Because that M12 is actually in a very, very sneaky position. Ready for this? There he is. Look at that. That is some next level positioning there. Backed up into a corner. There is no way Auromenes was ever going to be able to surprise that guy. Unfortunately, he fluffs his shot. And Auromenes takes the kill for a pools medal. Carrying his team, well, dragging his team, kicking and screaming by the scruffs of their necks to a very well-deserved victory. Surprisingly, not an ace tanker game in the Progetto 46. Yes, that's right, kids. Pools medal, high caliber top gun in the Progetto 46 these days is not good enough for an ace tanker. People must be doing very, very well indeed in this tank. But I doubt that Auromenes 007 is complaining too much, and I think we can all agree he definitely deserved that pools medal. I'm not entirely sure whether or not his team deserved him, but, well, they got him, and they're probably not complaining too much either. So, Auromenes 007 in the Progetto 46 with the pools medal, top gun, and high caliber. Well done, well played. Everybody else, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.